Ivan， 他是墨西哥建筑师那我等一下会请那个林正义老师来做一个简单的介绍，跟可能需要的话补充一些翻译。那先介绍林正义老师。我们在下一次系大会的时候再比较详细来介绍，因为我们今年大概新聘2位老师一个是尤英章老师，那一个是林正义老师那这一个学习要安排在大一那我想他这段时间跟他们接触，发现他们不止在专业特别是他们大概都有这2个老师都有的特质，就是在实务界都有很长的经验，然后最后才到学术界里面去念博士那基本上他们对教学都充满了热情这我想对系上应该是带来很好的这个帮助好，那我接着就请那个林老师。
我们建筑师呢，他其实除了在墨西哥，他其实也在，他刚才跟我聊天，也在西班牙大概约10年的一个经验。那么他这一次来是因为保障员他是那个布特的艺术家，那所以呢，他也会带给我们他这一次的一个经验。那我们也希望同学们很热烈的掌声来欢迎我们的。
Hello everyone. I will speak in English. I know that many of the students speak English, but we have this nice translator that she will help me in this translation. And okay. Well, my name, as he presents me, my name is Ivan in Spanish, Juarez. I'm from Mexico. I'm an architect from Mexico, and I'm very happy to be in this university. I want to congratulate all the staff, and especially because they gave me this opportunity to share my projects to you.
所以其实理论建筑师他非常高兴今天有这个机会来跟同学们来分享他的一个经验。
I will speak about projects, but more specific, I will speak more about the process. The title of my lecture is called Ephemeral Landscapes. Okay? You tell me when it's okay? It's okay for you? Okay. I would talk of landscape as a part of my process and how this process has been translated to the work that I do. First of all, I was doing a mental why landscape? Why I am an architect, but why very focused, or why I'm very interested in landscape. So I made a remind of my mind, and I came to childhood to start to looking where start my landscapes. Okay?
这个他刚才在解释就是为什么他要经历这个路程的心理路程，然后到了景观，那么这个是他从小或者是说他回到最原始的一个根本去寻找那个道路。
When I start, I think every one of us, like me, have start with this imaginary landscapes. When I was a child, my mother tells me a lot of stories of animals and fantasy stories. She used to read me a lot of Russian stories, and I have this imagination of landscape. I think that my landscape start with the imagination through the stories and through my mother. Should I continue? Also, when I was growing, also the literature, I know Julio Verne, or some journeys that I have this fantasy or reality landscapes, they're part of imagination landscape where they start to construct my process related to landscape.
那么这和很多的一些从小的母亲她的一些故事啊，她想象了很多的情节，包含很多的一些空间，她的想象力。他认为在经过他整个成长的过程，然后又读了很多相关的一些，有些是小说之后呢，其实他认为所谓的想象到最后还会成为他的一个创意跟他的一个景观之一啊。
So I think reading or the imagination is this first process of get experiences, even we haven't journey physical. Some other this is a picture of my grandfather. He was chemical, and he traveled. He was a very he went to know Mexico very deep. He ride bicycles for around Mexico, and he was a photographer, and he was discovering different parts of Mexico that it was not discovered yet. And
这个他的祖父呢，因为对于整个墨西哥，他自己也骑了脚踏车，到了很多其实都没有人知道的地方，也因为是摄影家，也做了很多的一些记录啊，所以这个是他介绍他的一个成长跟他的家人。
Every Saturday when we have these family meetings or family together, he showed slides of all his travelings of different parts of Mexico, and for me I was very excited of this fantasy landscape that he showed us. Some of the pictures, they are not from here. This is a contemporary artist, Juan Rulfo, a writer. But this is the images that black and white he showed us every Saturday and tell us this is Mexico in a way that he was discovering this Mexico.
所以每个礼拜六，他的祖父都会告诉给他们他每个礼拜他做的一些记录，摄影的记录，那都是黑白的，但是他每个礼拜六呢，他都会听到他祖父跟他们分享。
So I explained all this imagination, but in childhood I had this experience with my parents. He loved to travel around Mexico, so he bought this combi. No, this one. This is the one that I found in the internet because it's very colorful and very heat. It was not the same, it was normal, but I just put this image. But in this vehicle, we travel a lot around Mexico.
这小时候的车子，他爸爸买的，他们带我们出去旅行，都是跟着这个车子跑。
I think it's my first approximation between landscape and architecture. These vehicles that transform you can sleep, you can eat, you have a close relationship with the context that you are. So I have a childhood traveling in this, not this, but something similar in this vehicle, and it's this relationship of how the space can be used to have a dialogue with the landscape.
这是第一次他曾与有接触到跟建筑相关的，因为人的一个活动，还有跟空间的连接，然后他在一个车子里面，因为每个礼拜爸爸妈妈都会带他出去，所以他开始有第一类的接触。
Some images of Mexico. This is the south of Mexico, Palenque. As you heard about the Mayans. The good thing in Mexico is an extensive country, so it has a lot of contrast of landscape. Jungle, desert, mountains, so there's a lot of variety of different landscapes. Caribbean. This is the jungle in Mexico. This is part of the jungle also. And when I finished my undergrad, I was helping a teacher. She was doing a research of the haciendas. It's an old colony architecture that used to it's very related to the field and the economy and also to the landscape. And I was studying in a semi-desert area, so we visit a lot of old buildings like this, and it was very close relation with semi-desert architecture.
因为它墨西哥其实是一个很大的国家，然后它的气候其实从非常冷到非常热到沙漠地带都有，所以他在分享他读完大学之后呢，跟一个老师一起去研究他在一个比较靠近沙漠地带的hacienda，其实是像是墨西哥的农庄那个是跟当时的一个经济活动是非常有关系的，我很多其实都已经没有在用了。那时候大学之后呢，他就去做了这方面的研究。
So this is the kind of landscape that is related to the city where I studied. A lot of using of the earth, like adobe we call it. Also a lot of the kind of plants that a lot of cactaceae that they are from the semi-desert Mexico. It's like this big area between central Mexico and United States. It's a huge desert.
所以他在讲他那时候去的生活的一个地方，它是介于美国跟墨西哥中部的那个区域，它其实是非常的干燥，那么非常的像沙漠地带，那么那里的建筑其实就跟那里的这个区域是连接的，包含那里当地的一些植物植栽，还有他们建筑的方式跟选的建材。
So I have all these things together in my mind, these approximations that I had. But after my graduation as an architect, I went to know Europe. So I traveled it was this journey for 2 months. But at the end, I went to traveling around Europe. At the end, I stayed in one city, Barcelona. But this journey was like expecting to stay 2 months. I stayed 10 years.
所以大学之后呢，他觉得他就去了欧洲，像所有的读建筑的人，当初他认为他可能是2个月，但是最后就成了一个10年的旅行。
In this city, I learned many things about the city, how the Mediterranean has this relation to the urban space, this close relation with the public areas and the people living in the city.
那么他在巴塞罗那生活了10年，发觉其实地中海的一个区域跟它的建筑跟它的人文其实也是非常不一样，但是跟当地的城市是息息相关的。
And in the city is where I start my studio. All the things that I explained before, I start to make projects with all the things that I have in my mind. I have the opportunity also to travel from this to some other architectural principal symbols of my studies that I knew it from real. So I made this travel and for 10 years, and after these 10 years I came back again to Mexico, my country. That I start also the studio that is called X-Studio.
所以经历过呢10年的在欧洲的这个10年的旅行之后呢，他又回国了。那么开始他的一个建筑的一个实践的一个经验呢，他成立了他自己的一个工作室叫 X-Studio。那决定开始实践他所看到的跟他所学到的。
From this space, I try to combine different disciplines, not only architect. As I explained you, landscape, architect, also contemporary art. I try to experiment many things. So I have like 3 different lines. First line is the production. It's like a research laboratory where we work a lot finding new ideas related to space and urban and landscape spaces. Another branch that is cultural production that I think for architects is very important to explain to the public what is architect, what is that being architect, what is the relationship with our cities. I think if we explain to the public this experience that we know in the schools, I think there will be more culture of the city. I mean, the client will not against us, will be part of us. And the third one is the academy. I'm teaching in Mexico, and I do a lot of workshops, and I teach in one of the most important universities. It is a public university in San Luis Potosí is the name of this city, and it has a very good quality of education.
所以他在经历过整个10年回到国内的时候呢，他在整个他的工作室分了几个部门，那包含他认为在做案子实践，那么还有所谓的一个人文建筑与人文的部分，他觉得必须要去做沟通，无论是跟大众、跟业主等等的。那再过来，其实就是他的一个教学的经验，他认为这3个是他的实践的过程当中3个很重要的。
This vision is a McDonald's. You know, McDonald's is in Mexico, and this is a visualization that we have everywhere. Even here, if you travel everywhere, you will find. But what I like to find in the different cultures is the specific units of cultures. When I go to a new city, for example, here in Taipei, I like to walk around the streets and to smell and to experience these unique things that come from their own culture. This is in photographs in Africa, some graffitis in New York, how the public plazas are used and this is a plaza in Mexico also. This is a picture of the traditional, we made a traditional, say, altar. For the people who passed away, we have this homage. It's very traditional. So this is very unique things that only happen in these particular spaces. So this is where I focus to this relationship between sensations and experience in the local culture. So I will explain this part of production, experimental ideas laboratory, and as I said before, it will start with architecture, public intervention, landscape and city, interior, and objects. And also there's another branch that is related to body and space. This is the different parts that I want to work. And I will focus this lecture to the site-specific intervention that is more related to landscape. Yeah? Should I okay. I will start with some projects that they talk about the points of encounter. How we can, as I show you some places, some images, how could my work can also show to the public the sensations that I want to exhibit in the same context. So it's a relationship between the people or the visitor or the citizen to the context. I will start showing a project. It's in Senegal, in Africa. Tamba Box is the name of the project. And it talks about the people and territory. Should I? Yeah? It's okay? I explain this project. It's the first project that I will explain because the process, when I I did it, it's a process that I didn't work before in this kind of process, but after this project, I like the way of doing this kind of process. First of all, we work in Tambacounda in Senegal, and I was invited from a cultural association. They told me, come to Senegal to make a project with very low budget, but you don't have a first reference of Senegal. You just come, and what you see, what you talk, what you experience, you make a project with what you feel. So I walked around the markets, I spoke to people, and I was like 10 days just coming inputs from the contest. I was very interested of this fabrics, of how the people dress. It was very colorful, contrasting with the landscape, as you can see. And these fabrics, you find them in the market, and then we start working with the craftsmen that it was in town. So we made a space with the tailors. First, we made a kind of frames spreading around the town to show this contrast with the colorful and also the walls that are vanishing with the painting. And after making these walls, we assembled to make a box that the people can get in, and it's a kind of is to give space again to the. It's a relationship to the body, also with the space. The people get in and they play music as performances. In Senegal, there's a lot of music and dance. There's a lot of culture of music. So they get inside of this box and they give life again to this box. This is the interior made of these fabrics. And during the light, we light it as there's not many electricity, so it was as a candle light in the town. We use it as a theater, projecting shadows during the night. So it was a very simple project using very simple elements. But the thing that I like is this project, I couldn't do it in nowhere, even in Senegal. So everything came from the same context. Yeah. Should I continue? It's okay? Should I continue or? Continue? Okay. Okay. So we show you some other projects. For example, this is also talks a relationship between architecture and nature. How the nature constructs its own architecture. So made a metaphor of this architecture. So we made this chrysalises, this hanging element as inspired of nature, and it talks about this relationship, the relationship between how the human being could be protected, could be more related to nature. It's more symbolic or metaphorical project, and this is the way of showing. Should I continue? Okay. Another project that I will show you is in Bilbao, in Spain, using the flowers as main elements to make an intervention. We work in this plaza. As you can see the river, you can see housing, you can see schools, industry. There's a lot of things going on in this small area, and I think it's like a pattern of many things. So we were inspired of this urban pattern, but also inspired of the patterns from the fields. So we made a project using flowers, a project that you can see it from the building, but also you can have a close relationship with the plants. We did a pattern also, but with all these colors of flowers, and then we separate all the different colors to make. This is the plant, and this is the last plants we did to make this garden. We work in a greenhouse. We work in a greenhouse then in Bilbao with a small box that you put the soil inside, and then it starts growing inside of the greenhouse. The start begins to grow. This is the process like 3 months before, and this is when we placed the garden, and then you can see where's the garden from the building. This is the first day when we place it, and so they call us from the organization and they say you have to come again and see if your garden is alive. And so 1 month after, the colors start to dilute between them. So it was like this contrast of different colors, and this is how the garden was related to the square. At the beginning, the people from the square didn't want to place a garden there because they use a lot the plaza. But after the garden was here, they told us we can leave it forever, but we couldn't because it was a temporary garden. But it was a good relationship with the neighborhoods. So this is the project that I show you is points of encounter, and this is in cities. I will show you some points of encounters, but in landscapes. This is a project made in Norway, in the fjords. A very, very nice landscape where the river and sea comes together. And this is the landscape where I worked. I was also invited for a cultural organization. This is one of the fjords that I was staying here. So you can see the whole forest related to the fjords. And this is you have like 2 different scales. One is the inside, that is the deepest forest, and the other side is like more, you can see the landscape together. Is it okay? Should I continue? Yeah? Okay. So I worked first in this inside of the forest, in the woods. So I like this idea of these lines that point to the sky. The trees pointed to the sky. So when I was there were a lot of seeds, pines from the pines that I think is a symbol from the woods. So I pick a lot of them to make a kind of cylinder made of this skin of pine trees. So it's a place that you can get in. You can get inside, and from the inside you see this view that I show you. This view of the forest of the land. So it's something that you are inside of this forest together with the seeds. And this is the view that I wanted to show, that the people could be more close to the nature and to have this point of view. This point of encounter sometimes show you the sky, show you trees, show you some small things from the landscape. This is the second project that I did in that place, also using the wood to make a wall, also with woods. If you get closer to the woods, to slides, they show you small fragments of the landscape. This is the second intervention. I was working for 1 month there, so the process is very important to be there and make all the work together by myself, with my hands, my own hands. Another intervention also is in Italy. I was also invited for Casale Marittimo. It's a town very close from the Mediterranean coast. If you go to the town, it's a medieval town between walls. Even the sea is very close from the town. But inside of the walls you cannot see the sea, or you don't see the landscape. So what I did is, when I came, they were picking up the hail. And I found in a farm, I found this material. So I made a kind of point of encounter also, that if you see it in the landscape, it's like some part of the natural landscape. If you get closer, if you can see, if you are here, you don't see you see the line, the horizontal line of the sea, but you don't see the town. So I want to put this place, when you get closer, you have this relationship between the city or the town and the sea. So until you walk and you get closer, you step on that step, so you can have this relation of the town, the medieval town, and the line of the sea. So this is a point of view that was temporary. Maybe the cows ate it. I don't know. But it was part of the nature. Some other intervention that's very close from the city I live is a refuge, kind of a small pavilion. Then you have can be like you can have the shadow, but it makes the shape is part of the cactaceae, of the cactaceae plants. So it's made of paper. Well, not paper, but it is also a fabric. But I work together with artisan, craftsman. We work together making this piece. Also in this area, in a volcano, in the desert, I placed only a big share, so you have this intimate relationship with the huge landscape, and you as a part of this huge landscape. You have this view of the volcano. It's like a very strong view, because you are in the highest point, and then you have this volcano. But it's something that explains this. We are very small thing in this landscape. The human being is kind of small compared to the landscape. So this kind of interventions are points of view. This one is in Brazil, in an island. This is a very interesting place, because you can see here the sea, but when I came, I didn't see any of the sea, because there's a tide. The tide, I don't know. Yeah. So the sea comes and goes every day. So what I did is, when the tide was gone, I did this kind of small holes that you can see it and see the relationship with this kind of desert. Looks like a desert. But it's nice because during the day, many people, because in Brazil, many people start playing football, and the oystermen come, and there are many things happening in this place when the tide is gone. So I did these places, small small pools that you can sit on it and watch what happened around this place. And when the tide comes again, they fill this holes, and when the tide goes again, they reflect the sea. I want to make these reflections of the sea like sky mirrors, that I call sky mirrors. So it's a temporary, but it talks about this relationship with nature. In the same place, working with palm, with the palm tree. I made also a pavilion, also with a handcraft. We work together. We take some leaves from the palm, and we make this pavilion made of this hello? No, it's not working. Okay, yeah. Should I? Is better?
Yes.
Hello, hello for them. Okay, yeah, the back guys. No, they didn't wake up. So it's not working. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, but it's okay. How are you okay with this? I am speaking very slow because. Are you okay with the explanation? Should I continue, or you need the translator or something? I continue, right? I mean, there's a lot of images, so they explain by themselves. Okay, we will continue. So I was working making this pavilion made handmade. So this project that I show is like points of encounter. So I will show you some projects that you discover walking and walking these walks. Routes, travels, and paths. First of all, I will show you one in Spain, in the mountains. It's a sculpture that it was a contest. You can see all the mountains and the housing. So I have a sculpture that continues the forest, and in one side, and I want to make a housing also, and the housing for the inhabitants that they were before. They were like original inhabitants, more than the people who came after. So we want to make this housing. There's something that you can walk. It's like continuity of the forest, and it's a housing for birds. It's a place that the birds goes in different seasons. So also it's like a metaphorical work. It's like how we are always housing everything. Now I want to make this housing for birds, and so the birds also have the windows to the forest, like we show in the images when housing is selling. And it has like 40 apartments. It has like apartments, like one floor is here, another floor is here, and it has like two different facades. So I was to make. I mean, it's sometimes the people ask me if the birds comes. I say they go. Some of them, if they have the whole forest, they prefer the forest. I know, but I mean, it's a relation because sometimes the people from the neighbors they feed or they put water and everything. But actually, I want to make just a sculpture. It was a sculpture that you can spread around. In this place won't be more urbanization because it's very spread and you can walk on it. So, but I mean, they use it, but I think they use more the forest. I would prefer also the forest if I was there, right? That was a metaphorical way of doing this project. Also, another project, also an intervention. This is I did this project last year in the United States, in Vermont. When I was there, it was autumn, so it was a very beautiful, colorful of this I was in this area, working in this area. There's a stream of this small river. I was looking this kind of landscape, so I wanted the people also have this connection with this colorful of this landscape. What I did is pathway in the river using some wood that I found there. I didn't cut it, it was found. So I made this kind of path that you can walk around the river, you can up on the river, and then you can see the reflections of the different colors, and so it's another way of seeing the landscape walking on the river. This is this pathway. It was also temporary. I used it only for autumn because the rainy season came after, so I just made it temporary. And this is also a path. It was in Italy also. I came, and when I came, we made a workshop together with a lot of students from Italy for 1 month. There's an architect from Sicily that invited me to make this workshop. He made all this rail that is not used anymore to make a path connection between the different rail stations. It's a linear park. So I made an intervention parallel to this pathway. When I came, all this pattern was completely yellow with these flowers. So you see like a carpet of yellow flowers. So what I did is just to have I did a small cut, thinking a small lake. And so I did this small path, but this flower is very special because they use it for cooking, and it has a lot of smell. So I want to make this path, when you walk inside of this path, the flowers is not a carpet anymore, it's more like a wall, and then you can smell of the intense smelling of the flowers. We worked together with students. We made some small beds to see the sky also. It was funny because when we finished the line, the small lake, we put a platform. We finished at 7 at the evening, and there was a lot of frogs singing or making. So the students they have this idea to invite all the population around the village. And so they invited to a concert of the frogs. So it was, they made all the invitations and everything. So the following days, the people came just to see this kind of concert made from nature. Also a pathway, also in Spain, connecting or linking different trees in a sculptural park. With sculptures of many important artists. So we made, we work in Cadiz, in Spain. There's an important port that the first ships, boats that went to America, they travel, or they started travel from there. So we use this material that is connected to the boats, making this natural wave, and we wave a lot of trees just to follow this red line that makes you the connections to the different sculptures in the landscape. Okay. Another walking, but this is in the city, a walking intervention in Lausanne, Switzerland. We choose this building, small building, a triangle building, to make a connection with the city. So what we did is a temporary intervention, a facade of 1 meter. We put a scaffolding in front, and then we covered with plants. And this scaffolding, you can go up and see the city from the top. So this is a project that we sent. This is a project just done. And this is the relation of this building with this new facade. And you go to different terraces and you have this relationship with landscape and also seeing the city from another point of view. That's what I explained you before, how different points of view can change the relationship that you have normally in the city. There's another pathway was made in Mexico. This is contemporary art museum in the city where I live. And it used to be a post office where a lot of papers and letters comes from and come this area. So I want to use this path using also paper, working together with this handmade professional. So we made this pathway of this just to change the path, the vision of the path in the city. Also in this city, is the main plaza of the city. As you can see, it's very colonial city. It's the Founders Square, and here is the main university building. Now it's the administration building of the university. So this is a very important square, and it has last year in 2013 was the 90th anniversary of the university. So I made an intervention. They to make this celebration of this 90th anniversary in this plaza. So what I did is I placed 90 trees. Each one of them, they have the year when from the 1913 to 2013, and every tree explains you what happened in that year. They have a lot of small tags that they explain you what happened in the university related to the city. So it's like an open museum. So you can walk and you can read and you can see, you can learn more. After I placed it inside of the university, and then the trees were placed in a campus together. They were planted in a campus, a huge campus. There's also in a park. I was invited to make a project for disabled people, but I want to make. I had a lot of meetings with the people, and they told me that they didn't want a special place for them. So what we did is more than a special place for them, more close. So we did an area of the park that it gives more emphasis on the senses. So we call it the Park of Five Senses. So we made this flower plant as the way of you can walk around these different senses. From you can hear and you can touch and you can listen. You can have different relationships with the landscape. You can walk on this different and sense the different way of the landscape. This is still. So I will finish with some more buildings, more architectural projects that I also they think about this relation with the contest. This is a small building that is in Barcelona, in the area of the Gothic area. You can see the small square, the small triangle, sorry. The top of the triangle used to be for a water tank. So I proposed to change the use of a water tank into a housing without changing all the walls and not changing the area. The area I couldn't grow up even taller or to the terrace because the law doesn't permit to grow up. So using this small place, I use it as a living place. This is how the water tanks was before. So we made a very, very small house, but with a closer relationship with the terrace. It was very important, just opening the terrace and making a small attic so you can have this relation to the outside. It's very, very, very small apartment, but it was a lot of effort to make something very small, to make it a different thing for a living space. This is the terrace. This is also in Barcelona. I don't know if you have heard about this chef. He's very famous. Wiggy is called. And we did a temporary restaurant for him, for visitors in Barcelona, placed in the Montjuic, where the Olympic Games was. The opening of the Olympic Games was in this stadium. This is the tower of telecommunications that was made for architect Alatava and another stadiums. So we placed this temporary pavilion restaurant. So we want to make we want to give the importance of the whole context. So we made a restaurant, but it was completely transparent, so you can see the whole area. And the protagonist of this restaurant was the buildings around. This is the hall, and we want to light the whole ceiling, so the lights became kind of a sky also with stars. So you can see the whole buildings around in a transparent space. You okay? Yeah? Okay, this is I think it's the last project that I show you. It was just a recent project. It was made in Austin, Mexico, in the city where I live. It was a contest. It was a College of Architect building. It's well, the professionals after graduation they go to this college. They have the program is they have offices. They have also an auditorium, a multi-space that you can do many things around. But we use a stone that is very common in this area. But this stone we use. We pick it because the mines explode to get big pieces. But some of them, this is the rest of the pieces. So it's like a recycled stones. It's a red stone, very, very hard. And we work with a lot of men that they very good using this stone. Well, the building was very. We have 30 meters and 30 meters from the total area of the land or yeah. So we wanted to do kind of two buildings that you can cross. It's like you can cross them. We use a patio, like we use a lot of patios that you can as you saw it in the images, the patio is very important in Mexico. We try to use something that distributes in a patio, but there are buildings that you can cross them. This is a model, so you can cross the building as a gate that you can cross, and the program was asking for a lot of cars. We had to put a lot of cars in the building, so we decided to put the cars in a side, not in front of the building. So we decided to put in 1 meter below the cars, and so when the cars where there's no parking, I mean when the cars are not there, you can use it as a continuation of the patio, right? The parking lot is not only a parking lot; it could be a part of the big patio. So this is the project, and this is the 2 volumes that I show you. One is above that you can cross it, and the other one is also a gate that the cars cross it also. And this is the facade made of this red stone that I show you. This is the main entrance stair, and this is what I show you. This is a multifunctional space that you have lectures or other kind of events. Now we close it. The picture doesn't show, but we close it. And the parking lot, you don't see it, there is below here, so it's a continuation of this patio. This is the interior. We try to use the light as a main element, and also all the building does have mainly has stairs, but also always there's a ramps, so you can go to the different floors without any problem using the stairs. And the last project that I show you is in Mexico, in the Caribbean Sea. It's I don't know if you have heard about this site. It's very famous. It's Tulum. It used to be a point of view from the area, from the Mayas. It's a small site. It's not the most important because it was in the post-classic Mayan period. So around Tulum, this in the Caribbean. I don't know if I have the map in the southeast Mexico. There's a lot of cabins that used to be for eco hotels. The site is up, and then there's a lot of small hotels that they're growing together with the landscape. There's no electricity. There's no power electricity. They use solar panels and wind. And so I made in a very small site hotel. This is you don't see it, right? No, you don't see it. So, well, here was a meteorite. How do you say meteorite? A meteorite in Mexico. Is the one who was the guilty or something that the news disappeared in this area. So the whole complete land in that area of Mexico is complete stone, and there's no rivers. It's complete flat. All the rivers go down. They always go down because the meteorite gave this shape to the geological system. So you can see there's a lot of different ecosystems. So you can see the rivers, but they are underneath, and it's very interesting area. And so there's a different ecosystem around this area. The site is in front of in the sea. One of the most important things is to respect the dune. You know, the dune. because many hotels around, or in Cancun, I don't know if you hear about it in Cancun, they have destroyed the whole dune. And when the hurricane comes, that is very often because it's an area of hurricane, the most important thing that protects the area is the dune. So what I did in this project is I didn't cut any tree, I just protected the dune, and I continued the dune to the other side. So it's a kind of hotel that is dispersed different pieces around this line, and it's not one building. It's something that you are discovering from the rail, from the highway or from the road to the sea. So you walk around and you discover the different pieces of housing through this path. And the thing is like there is a hiding place. So you can see I use pilots because there's the sea is coming, so I use this system that is, this is the way I use working a lot with the local people, the Mayans, so they know when to cut the wood, and it's very related to nature. Some images. So I think there's all the projects that I show you. I think sorry if I spoke in English, but that's a project that I uploaded to show it to you. Thank you very much. Ephemeral landscapes? Well, some of them, because some of them are temporary interventions, so they dissolve in the landscape, so it's ephemeral, so it's not permanent, because I think nature is a cycle that we have to dialogue with it, and sometimes the ephemeral is not that it's not only, it's a kind of dialogue with the human being with nature. I mean, it's like we should do this cycle of nature could be not, I don't know, like not permanent. Not permanent. I mean, so the things can be like more. The nature could be more protagonistic than the things we do. That's kind of. I don't know if this.
Because I thought that subject is very interesting. Because you could have used like temporary, but it doesn't mean temporary.
Yeah, no, it's
like short-lived.
Yeah, it's a short-lived. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe all students are not gonna, but I'll take the questions. When you translate from the landscape and then you go into the actual architecture, do you find a difference between what you do in nature and what you perceive as something more permanent, something that stands in the landscape? And what do you perceive the difference between the two, or how do you perceive the two?
When
you do the, for example, all this intervention in the landscape, and when you finally start doing the architecture.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I show you almost the last project that I showed you was the College of Architects that is more permanent. I worked together with some other architects. We made a contest. Maybe if I did it by myself, I wouldn't did exactly the same I showed. I think working in temporary spaces with nature has gave me a lot of another way of understanding nature. I mean, working there and looking at the cycles and everything, it showed me many things that I didn't learn from architecture. So there's a nice school for me trying to, when I do architecture, I try to do some landscape architecture. I mean, even some, when you work in a permanent building, I mean, you have to think about time. I mean, the sun and some of my temporary interventions, I mean, they dilute. But imagine if with this space dilute, I mean, has to be more, has to be different materials that they can be more, support more the space. But so I try to combine both. I try and I don't know if I think in architect I have to give another step. I think I start doing it, but I will have another step learning from this temporary activity. I'm still looking this way. I'm still, yeah. Sure, yeah.
I had submitted a graduate lecture before, the Chilean architect.
He came here?
No, in the United States.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, I know.
it's very interesting to me that both of you seems share some similarity when you are trying to explain your work. And I don't know if you feel that way, because he also started his lecture by telling the story about his grandfather.
Really?
Yeah. And also I think and also I'm fascinated with how you start the lecture by imagination and the storytelling.
Oh yeah.
And I think, do you think that's the specific way for Central or South American architect to
I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's from Central. I mean, this coincidence is, I don't know. It's not the way, but I think it's more generational. I think my childhood is very different to the childhood now. I mean, I don't know, but my mother, she's biology also, but she reads a lot. I mean, she I don't know, she was fascinated about the Russian culture. Even my name is Russian, so I have those Russian stories. But she, I don't know if the mothers here in Taiwan reads to the child. I think they do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I never gave this importance, right? Until now that I'm going like this. Presenting my work is like therapy, right? I mean, you have to go inside of why I'm doing this or something like.
The reason why I asked this question is when I remember when I was in the United States, one of the professors, she is actually specialized in Central and South American architecture, and what she used a term actually, like magical realism.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
To describe the conditions of, and she considered that kind of mysterious quality or poetic quality of Central South American architecture, like the spirit that's exactly I saw from today's representation. Seems there's a relationship.
Could be. Now that you're saying, I was not considered like this way of doing Latin, but I mean I'm very pregnant of this magic surrealism that came from literature, from Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the writer, that he combined this reality with this metaphorical landscapes and this. I was also in a way very impressed on very inside of the literature. That's I can say that I did. Also, there's also a cinema director, Wong Kar-wai.
Yes.
Wong Kar-wai.
Wang Jiawei.
Yeah.
Yes.
He told that he was very inspired of this version from Garcia Marquez. So it's a way of maybe we added it somewhere, but we don't know. I mean, it's something that part of the culture we have is that maybe you don't know. I explain this, but maybe could be. I think it's good. I think it's good. It's not bad. I mean, it's part of it. Yeah. I don't know. Some from the students.
同学们有问题吗？
No? This is the second day of your semester. So you maybe, I know you're coming from